we have the amplitude, the period so far. The phase shift here. Positive pi over 3 divided by 2. You got it? You got to do negative c over b. Remember, that's your formula here. So that's going to be pi over 3 times 1/2, which is pi over 6. Pi over 6. The intervals are going to be, the increment is going to be pi over 4, period divided by 4. Do those have the same denominator?
No, ma'am.
So you need to change both of these, don't you, to get a common denominator? That's what I would suggest doing. This is going to be 2 pi over 12. This is going to be 3 pi over 12. Does that make sense? So we're starting at 2 pi over 12, right?
Yes.
And then we have to add 3 pi over 12. So you would add that on to each of these. I'll send you these finished, and I'll do the last one too. Okay? For this one, for the x-axis, you would want to use pi over 12 for the x-axis. That's where you would want to go up by. I'll send you it finished, though. So to finish this problem, we would put on the x-axis, we're going to go by pi over 2. So that's going to be for the x-axis as we go to label it. So we're going to start at pi over 12. Then it's going to be 2 pi over 12. We have to go up by the same amount each time. 3 pi over 12. 4 pi over 12. 5 pi over 12. 6 pi over 12. And I'm going to run out of room here. 7 pi over 12, 8 pi over 12, 9 pi over 12, 10 pi over 12, 11, 12, 13. If you don't want to label every single line, you could kind of start to cheat a little bit here. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1 more, 14. They're not all perfectly even, but it's going to work. And I forgot to do my y-axis here, but my y-axis is going to be up 3, and down 3. And then I can go ahead and start my graph. My graph is going to start on 2 pi over 12. So just make sure you're paying attention to that starting point. That phase shift was 2 pi over 12. And then we have to go, the max, that's your intercept. The max is going to be at 5 pi over 12. The min, the intercept is going to be at 8 pi over 12. That's going to be an intercept. The min is going to be at 11 pi over 12. And then the last one, the intercept, is at 14 pi over 12. So you can go ahead and draw a nice curve through there. And we're going to do one more. A slight change to this problem from what was in the notes. I actually am going to change this 4 to a pi. It's going to work out much nicer. So it's going to be pi instead. So your amplitude for this problem is 4. Your period is going to be 2 pi divided by 2 pi, which is 1. And then to get the new part, the phase shift, remember your formula is negative c over b. So that's going to be negative pi over 2 pi, which is going to be negative 1/2. So then to find out your interval, you have to take the period, which was, period's 1, and divide it by 4. So your intervals are going to be 1/4. So our starting value is going to be negative 1/2, because that's our phase shift. And then we have to go up by 1/4. So again, this is a part of the problem where I try and get a common denominator. If I can make these into a common denominator, it's going to be easier to use. So the common denominator is going to be 4 instead. So I'm going to change this to negative 2 over 4. So why don't we go ahead and change that to negative 2/4 instead. And I'm going to add another 4th, which is going to be negative 1/4. and at another fourth I get 0. At another fourth we get 1/4, and another fourth we get 2/4. So those are going to be my values there. So now if I start to label my axes, my amplitude is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and also down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. My phase shift is going to be, I'm going to have to get to -2, so I'm still going to go, this 1/4 is going to be the increment I'm going to use for the x-axis. But now I have to get to -2/4, so I'm going to have to go left twice for this one. -1/4, -2/4 is going to be my starting point. And then I also have to go to the right, 1/4 and 2/4 to get all those values there. So you kind of have to pay attention to look at your starting point, look at how much you can increase by so that your intervals all stay equal. All those intervals are 1/4, so I know that I'm keeping the graph equal like it's supposed to be. So last step here, this first one's going to be an intercept. But then the next one, since it's -4, we're going to have to go down first, so we want a minimum next. Intercept, min. Your intercept is actually at 0 here then, so we're there. Then max, then intercept. So that's going to be my graph. Nice curve through there. So hopefully this helps. Good luck, and I will see you on Tuesday.